The Kottayam College, which later famously came to be known as CMS College Kottayam, was established by the Church Missionary Society of England in 1817. With 200 revolutions around the sun, CMS College prides itself in being the first institution of higher education in the country. The CMS missionary, Reverend Benjamin Bailey, who was the first principal of the college, laid the foundations of secular education and introduced the first Malayalam printing press, one of the many reasons why Kottayam is called the land of letters or Akshara Nagari. Reverend Benjamin Bailey is also credited for printing the first Malayalam translation of the English Bible and the first Malayalam English dictionary. After the establishment of the university system in India, CMS College was one of the first institutions to be affiliated to the University of Madras in 1858. The college was conferred the special heritage status by the UGC in the year 2015, considering the more than 100 years old buildings and intellectual assets. The college endeavors to live up to its motto, "Thy word is truth," which inspired the founding fathers of the college to enlighten the populace of this region 2 centuries ago. With a mission to impart quality education, the college also strives to create awareness on concerns pertaining to the natural environment. CMS College has been embracing and nurturing nature for over 200 years. The lush green campus in Akshara Nagari is situated on a hillock called Annankunna, which means the Squirrel's Mount. As we look deeper into our heritage, the casuarina that still decorates the campus with its magnificence holds prime importance in the history of Annankunna. It is believed that the squirrels invaded Annankunna to feed on the fruits of the casuarina trees planted by the missionaries back in the 19th century. The campus is blessed with abundance of vegetation, and around 5 acres of virgin forest has been carefully preserved and protected over the years. It also stands distinct as the cradle of biodiversity that nurtures many acres of rainforest ecosystem with all its opulence. The barn owl, the monitor lizard, the mongoose, and many species of snakes find their home in the campus, apart from the butterflies that inhabit the butterfly garden. The potential of the campus's natural forest is harnessed through the rearing of the melipona or the stingless bee, along with the training provided to students in apiculture. The college also has a greenhouse and a terrace garden that contribute to its eco-practices. A diary of visuals featuring 545 plant species under the title Floral was published by Vidya Nikshepam, the publication unit of CMS College, in association with the Kerala State Biodiversity Board. The college is thus a major attraction to entomologists, ornithologists, and zoologists. Let us not forget that cultivating the earth is the most important labor of man. The college cultivates vegetables on more than 1 acre of the campus, and the produce is used in the canteen, hostels, and marketed through eco-shops, along with the production and distribution of vegetable seeds and amaranthus. The college takes initiative in conserving the native and local breeds of cattle, which includes the Vechur cow, a rare cattle breed of Kerala. Waste management plays an important role in the economy and cleanliness of the college. The campus waste is efficiently handled through vermicomposting, pipe composting, and biocomposting. The college has adopted innovative methods of biocomposting using cow dung and food waste from the canteen and the hostels. Furthermore, the partial fuel requirements of the college canteen is met by the biogas plant. Healthy eco-practices are an inexorable part of our college's scheme. We tap natural sunlight to light the solar lamps in various parts of the campus. The natural water resources are harnessed through the annual maintenance of 5 wells in the campus. The rainwater recharge of the natural water body amidst thick vegetation near the college hostel is ample for fulfilling the water requirements of the campus. Natural water resources are also tapped through effective utilization of 2 rainwater harvesting tanks with a capacity of 1.5 lakh liters and 50,000 liters each for a community of more than 2,800 members. With all these initiatives at hand, CMS College takes pride in extending its good practices to the wider Kottayam community as well. The college focuses on educating the public by organizing eco-conferences, rallies and training programs while also imparting awareness for the need for conserving and preserving the environment and inculcating eco-values within the larger college community.
நேரறிவின் பொன்னுறவில் நெடிய நெடிய தீர்த்தாடனம் வித்யாலய புத்தி CMS புதுமுத்தி.
A warm welcome to the second session. I am Dr. Matthew Koshi-Punnekar, the Honorary Director of CSI Senate Department of Ecological Concerns. CSI Department of Ecological Concerns is working among the students for the last 5 years in promoting Green School program. Getting good marks is an essential thing in the Green School program. This is a second online training program for the students. The first session, this session will be 45 minutes duration. For our convenience, we have muted all the mics of the students. If you have any doubts, questions, you can write in the chat box. This program is available in the YouTube also. Later, we are planning to post it on the Facebook page of CSI Senate also. Today's speaker is Commander Taryan Ghoshi. Commander Taryan Ghoshi served in the Indian Navy as an aviation technical officer for 22 years and later joined Hindustan Aeronautical Limited as a part of Advanced Light Helicopter project. Also had a 7-year tenure at the Management Academy of HAL as senior faculty. Presently, he is the Dean of Nandi Toyota's training program. We cordially welcome Commander Taryan Ghoshi for this program. Over to Commander Taryan Ghoshi.
Good morning, everybody. The future of India in front of me. So glad to have your second session. Let me start with an actual experience which I had with the students, which has been, I was interacting for the masters. And we have a set of students who had just completed the board and were sitting there. So we just asked them to share the experience, and each one was sharing experience. One interesting young girl just asked, how was the board exams and your experience on that? Her reply was, it was, sir, a fantastic teamwork. I said, oh, interesting. And board is a teamwork. Said, what is it like? It was excellent teamwork. Papa was successful and was congratulated for his maths scoring. And Mama was extremely successful for her high scoring on science. And I've been congratulated for the language, which I have been master, the leftover. I just liked her sense of humor she was displaying. But then she added, but unfortunately, they stopped studying. And I'm continuing studying, and I'm doing my BA literature. So it's something like a board exam looks like something, it's there for, ripping you guys no sadistic some organization there. Everybody is literally stressed with. And as for our parents, after the marriage, it looks like the biggest event, not even having children was the biggest event. The biggest event in their life is children having board exams. So what is that which is creating such a aura of importance, such a aura of tyranny, such a aura of events of that makes it so something like an eventful milestone in your life? So my simple question is, what is a board exam mean? Anyway, let me start with a question. You have a maths paper and your teacher corrects it. And another two more teacher correcting the same maths paper. Will you have the same marks? I can hear in your mind all of them saying, no, sir. It will have different marks. Let me put the question a different way. Same answer sheet, your teacher corrects, your maths teacher corrects last week and next week. Will the same paper will have same marks or will be different marks? Most probably you'll say it will be different marks. So fundamentally, it's one word. Board means standardization. It is unfair. Thousands of teachers correcting thousands of papers, all India basis. And do you think anything can be standardized or it will be such varying? It's unfair, Anna. It's unfair to all your efforts. It's unfair for all your stuff which you are going to look into it. And end of it with all your hard work, and you're going to different measures of giving you marks. And what's the meaning of an exam? So that's what the board of exam finally meant for. Standardize it. Now, why in my times we had only one board exam? That's on 10th standard. We never had 11th and 12th. We had the pre-university, pre-degree, pre-college. It was a college time. We had something like 11th and 12th equal in the colleges, and we didn't have a board exam. Nowadays, we have two board exams, the 10th and the 12th. So what is that board exams fundamentally do to us? Why you need this? You see, all of us has to learn something, so we have schooling. We should know our ABCDs, RREE, we should know our 1, 2, 3, 4s, we should know our language, we should know how to calculate. All this happens, fine. And it should be useful to our daily life somewhere. We learn something to do it in our daily life. So by the time we reach 10th standard, a set of people will go out saying that, let me work. I am not interested in studies. Another set of students will say, I need job, but I need something more to study physically, and we call it skill jobs. So they go on to ITIs and polytechnics, etc. Then another set of students will say, I want to study more. Let me have to get into specialize some area, and you move out. So in the 10 board, when you move out into major splitting like arts, science, etc., where after your 12th board, you are specifically taking your area of studies. Because you can't study a whole world, there's a lot of knowledge. So you start moving into specialized area. So till 10th, we are having sort of a general learning, and we are testing on the general learning, and using that testing, that results, you are now started moving out, and you need to standardize. That's why till around 10th standard, we don't have some board exams, or we have a school is good enough. Our classes is good enough, but not this way. Okay, fine. Now, we have been pushed, students has been pushed, all are hyped up, we have been working, studying, so that we come out best out in the first landmark, which is all India basis, and then we decide what we do. Or some of them already decide what the ambition is, they'll go about it. So let me ask, there is some approach which I have to write on the board writing itself. So how do you, with, okay, knowing all this board exam is like that, how it helped me? It helps you in a big way because it's a standardization. And let me ask you how these teachers standardize the answer. The board gives them answer sheets and say if they are written this, give them 1 mark. If you are going this, give them 1 mark. If the third step is this, 1 mark. Formula is written, 1 mark. And they don't look at the way your school teachers look at it. If the answer is not correct, in maths, how much you will get? 0. It's not the way board corrects your paper. So they have a system, so any teacher correcting, the same marks will fall into it. That's how they have instruction board. So it is fundamentally standardization, making it fair to you, and is not that it is want to make you difficult life. Only thing we are preparing to get the best results, like a race which are happening. Okay. Now, what happens during the exam? There are some tips I am going to give you today. Last time in the previous thing, what I said about is how to study for the exam and go about with it. This time, I'm going to give you something while you are in exam, while you are writing exam, the days of exam. So first stage, during exam, the first point. Do you like a tough question paper or an easy question paper? I know all of you will say, I'd like to have an easy question paper. Generally, sometimes after you're coming out, we ask some student, how was the maths question paper? This time it was easy. We answered. I answered everything. Very good. Very good. You are very happy. What I am telling you is not the case. One of my neighbors was a girl appearing for 12th. We used to discuss about it. How was that? She had a small trouble which she has to recover. She was a school's best student. But what has happened, the most difficult subject for her in 10th standard was chemistry. You know, we all have something which you like well. Some of the subjects, one of them will not like that well, you find it difficult. So for her, it was chemistry. Now in the chemistry exam of the board, 10th board, it was a tough paper. And children writing was finding it difficult to answer everything. So one of the girl in front of her started crying, broken down somewhere after 20-30 minutes of the exam, started weeping in the class. Seeing this, she was already troubled that I am not able to answer this. She also began weeping. So what has happened to her is because of that upset mood, rest of the questions she could not answer well. So the result came. For chemistry paper, she had around 60 marks, where she used to score around 90s, and all her average has come down. And after exam, as usual, our good neighbors and elders will say, how was the exam? You are a fresh class student. We say, how much percentage you get? And they said, low. For her, it was something like a shame. I'm being the topper, and I got so-and-so. I'm going to beat this when I cross the 12th board. And she was preparing so hard for the chemistry in the 12th board. That eve of the exam, I just happened to say, how is tomorrow is chemistry, Anna? Suppose your first question you could not answer, what do you do? She said, I'll go to the second question. Said that turned out to be a tough question you could not answer. I'll go to the third question. I said the third question happened to be tough. I will go to the fourth. The fourth is also tough. I'll go to the fifth. The fifth looks very tough. I think I'll start weeping. Then I asked her, do you know 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14 questions? The rest of the question is easy to answer or not? I have not looked into it. I said, if it's easy to answer and you start crying, can you answer? Not that good. Then I discussed with her further. When the tough get going, when the going get tough, the tough get going. You heard that sentence? Yes. So where you stand in your class? I'm one of the best in that class. I'll come in the first 5 in the class, the girl said. Forget the first 5 or 4 of them, because they any situation they'll write. But with the rest of the class, where you stand, I stand top. I said, if you are 45 students in the class, you are somewhere in the 5th, there are 40 more students under you who cannot answer the same questions. It's not only you. So the key is where it affects everybody equal. So what is that board exam meaning? I have told you standardization. They gauged the toughness of the paper. In paper turned out to be tough, they will also moderate and correct the answer sheets accordingly. If it's an easy paper, everybody gets every mark, they will make the correction tough. Every step they will look at it and see, is it written? Your answer may be correct, the mark, the final answer may be correct. You think it's 5 out of 5 you are getting in maths. No. They look at the step you are written, the formula given, applied in it, is it multiplied correctly? They look every step and see out such a way that you will get appropriate marks. If the paper is tough, they look at it, okay, there are 5 points, you have written 3 points, give them full marks. So you don't worry about all this marking. Tough paper, easy paper. So point 1. Point 1 is, if it's a tough paper, be very happy. If it's a simple, easy paper, you should be careful. So 2 things. Tough paper, be happy, attend everything. Easy paper, be careful, write lot of details. There's no meaning crying, getting upset, because that is not the way the board correct the papers, right? And I told this girl, don't worry, if it's a tough paper, go right. Evening I met her, she was red all over face. What happened? Uncle, you are a prophet. I said, what happened? Exactly same thing happened. 5 questions were tough. I said, did you answer everything? I answered everything, including the tough question. Whatever I know, I wrote. I said, don't worry. Do you think how much mark you'll get? I'll get around 80, 70, 80. When the result came, she had 94 marks. So you can't say how the teachers are going to moderate it and correct how the board is going to write. So for you, it doesn't matter, tough or easy, give your best performance. Point 1. Point 2. Most of the time you find, I know all the answers, but I didn't have sufficient time. The question paper is lengthy. How do you deal with it? You are making a mistake. We all divide the total question. There are 10 questions. We have 3 hours. We divide and say so much of time for per question. Actually, that is wrong. It is 3. Generally, your standard 3 hours of question. The 180 minutes, 100 marks. So 1 mark, you have 1.8 minutes to write. If a 10-mark question, you have to finish the answer by 18 minutes. For 1-mark question, you have with you 1.8 minutes. And this is the equation. You may know plenty more, but you have to finish your answer within the time frame of the mark which is given. Is it clear? The thumb rule is 18 minutes for 10 marks, 1.8 minutes for 1 mark. Anytime you spend more than that, you are not doing the right way. Remember this. So, clear? That's how we look at it. Point 3. Answering a question completely is not that smart when you are going to miss some questions in the full answer sheet. The smart one way is doing is complete the complete question paper in your answer sheets. That means smart answering. Remember, I just said it is against the time. You know one question very well, lot of details, and it has given you, is giving you 5 marks. And instead of 9 minutes, you are using 15 minutes because you know a lot of things. You will get that 5 marks, whether you spend 9 minutes, 10 minutes, or 12 minutes. You have to write down the important points, shorten it, don't write pages and pages because you know a lot of it, to the point, put it and score. So remember it very clearly. Ensure you are maximize your mark, because one question missing means you are missing the whole mark of 10. But you attempt and do a thing with that time saving, you will get more mark by doing it. You attempt 90 marks question, you may get 65. You attempt 100 marks, you will going to get 67, 68 marks or 70 marks. So you get more marks by attending 100% what you can and go about it. Generally, you make this mistake in maths. In one of the questions, you know the answer, you know everything, you know how to substitute, you work on it, it went wrong, you cut it, and you start working, it's not coming correct, you cut it, and you spend more time. In such occasion, skip that. Don't cut it. Whatever you've done, leave it there. Keep some space, go to the next question, keep writing, so that you can answer the rest of the question. Here, you have written the formula, you did something, you'll get some marks. But don't cut for just zero, unless you did a right answer later. Clear? So this is how we go about it. Now the fourth point. I know the answer, but I made error. The teacher is telling me also, you are making all silly errors. You are careless. No. You are not careless. What is happening is, these are not your fault. It is called avoidable error. Everyone does some error during this process. My son was expert in it when he was in schooling. He know the maths. He know it 100%. Always he never score 100% out of thing, 50 out of 50. Because he'll make some silly error. You'll see the answer sheet. Oh, Papa, I made this error. I know this. You see what has happened. So after some time, it was repeating. So I was trying to find out why it is happening. We have to be careful, look carefully, focus there, etc. So I just gave a simple solution. I just asked with them, when you are writing something, are you thinking about the next step? I am thinking about the next step because I have to quickly write it. So I'm very fast writing and I'm thinking about the next step. I said, that's where the mistake. Don't think about the next step. Think about what you are doing. And I gave a solution, focus at the pen. You are multiplying something, you add, you got an answer, you have to copy it down to the sentence here. From there, when you're copying, be at the pen tip. There I got 365, right back here 365 instead of 356. So what you are writing, be there, because mind can think very super fast. Pen and your hand goes slow. So by thinking next step, you have no advantage. You got to think there. Look at it. Because the moment you finish there, your mind is so fast, you can think about next step before the hand start moving into the next step. So you are not losing any time. So what you do is focus at the pin tip. That means be there at the pen where it is there. Do that area. So these avoidable errors can be removed. And I'm telling you, it very effectively happened for my son. By the time in 9th standard, 10th standard, 11th standard, his maths never go wrong by these silly errors. So any of you, I know many of them got this problem. This, they call it, you are careless in copying, you are making this error, you are making mistakes. So the mistakes is happening because you are thinking, not that you do not know, you are thinking next step. So stop thinking next step, think here. And when you finish that writing, think about next step, and your hand will be moving fast along with it. Okay. Now in multiple choice, not only now for the board exam, in future, this is also used for all tests, job application, different thing. They use multiple choice as your test thing. Now, multiple choice, there are different scales. I don't know what is now using for it, 30 minutes, 30 question, or 10 questions, 10 minutes, 15 minutes for you to give. Remember to calculate quickly one question, how much time I should spend. Invariably, everywhere in the multiple choice question, second, third, fourth question or fifth question, with the first 5 questions, that'd be a tough question. It may take more time to get an answer. All right? You may have to do some mental calculations. In such cases, in multiple choice, what you have to do is, we call the technique of plucking the low-lying apple. Suppose in a tree, we have some fruits. Which one we pluck first? Where you can reach. Pluck that, put in the basket. Pluck that, put in the basket. Pluck that, put in the basket. What you can't, we have to jump and get one. We do it after plucking what is reachable. After we jump and pluck, jump and pluck. So that's how we do it. So they are giving you a small time of writing. What you have to do, go through multiple questions from one into other, quickly pluck all you know, tuck, 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 answer. Then go for the round 2 to pluck which is tougher one. Clear? Pluck the low-lying, easy ones. So when you do that, further to save time, in the question paper, what you have not answered or answered, put a dot against the question paper. So when you finish till then, you can go back quickly and see which are things you have not answered and answer it quickly. Clear? Make it a practice. Anytime you are doing multiple choice question, run through from beginning to end as fast as possible and answer what you know, then go for the second round. Believe it that I have done 3 rounds in multiple choice question at times. Later in my life, not in the board, that time was new for me when we were at schools. But now in many aptitude tests and job orientation test, your capability skill test, there are different tests, they use this multiple choice, and multiple choice has to be acted like this. Clear? Tick what you know quickly, then based on the total time permitted, fill up the rest of them, which you know. Still, you find some of them very, very tough, skip that and fill up what you can. And if necessary, go to a third round. That's it. That's how we have multiple choice. Now, I remember in my schools, and there are some students who will, within 1 hour out of 3 hours, additional sheets, sir. And he'll pick up around 10 sheets and write. And really disturbs us somewhere. We think that, oh, these guys are great, yeah. Writing 10 additional sheets. I didn't find that much. Don't worry. 10 additional sheets means nothing. It is make no difference. How do you write and how you arrange your writing makes difference. I tell you why. See, the board has to correct. They are looking at your sheets. If it is marked clearly, everything is nice and I think it's easy to correct. And every day correcting and correcting, they get a paper like something like this. Can you make out anything? What is the answer? But if you have written it something like this, easy to answer. So make your answers correction friendly. It is not the number of pages. It is how you arrange and structured your answers. And you can read, there are 5 points in your written. The 5 points is marked 1, 2, 3, 4, or underlined here or there. It becomes very easy for the teacher to correct. And naturally, teacher look, oh, this student is good. The marks are easy to come. Otherwise, what will happen is they will, it's randomly written, they may miss some points and you will get lesser marks in it. So it's not the number of pages, it is the arrangement. Clear? Very good. So take this, let us go to the next point. Because we are writing in a question and answer sheet differently, may not be in the same order. Question 1 answer, question 2 answer, question 3A answer, question 3B answer. Like that we may not be writing or always. So what will happen? There will be choices also. You can have choice between 4th question and 5th question. So you have taken 5th question. So it is not in an order. It is ensure that I find many answer sheets, students don't write the question number clearly and properly. It's very difficult. Teacher may mistake you for that it is answering for some other thing and not get you. Of course, they do check and ensure, but make it correction friendly. Clear cut. If it is 10A, question 10A, write 10A. And after that is B, don't write B alone, write 10B. In the print, in the question paper, you written 10A in one place, B in another place. Fine, but you answer in your thing, make it very clear. So this will help the teachers to look at it correctly and give you better marks. So you will get the marks. So these are the general mistakes you write, or plus things you have to write in the board and get it. Okay, we'll sum it up again. But what happens in most of the time when you finish our board and come out, we all do what? Ask our friends, how was it? What's the answer of the 3rd question? What's the answer of the 4th question? It's a useless exercise. Because you do not know how they are marking the answer by only giving the answer, and it's a wrong answer. You think, I lost my 5 marks? No. There are steps written, other things, and you get marks accordingly. So there's useless exercise to find and discuss after the board exam. What's the answers? Don't waste your time because you have a short time. Today the exam is over now. Tomorrow I have to write for the next exam. So what I have to do? Remember the 3 R's: rest, refresh, and reboot. What is a reboot? You switch off and switch on in a computer called rebooting, right? In a computer, when they switch off and switch on, that's called rebooting. So what you do is you reboot yourself. So in the first session, the previous class, I had told you, how the memory works. We have residual memory, etc. Hope you remember that. The point here, anyway, if many of them missed it, I'll revise it to the end, but keep this in mind. Like computer, we have a hard disk sort of a memory. And we also have an operating area where they call cache memory. Whatever from the hard disk, it goes into cache, and that is open and you can use it. So what you're doing is, from your memory, you learn a lot of things. So what you can move out is the previous one, empty. The cache memory is a temporary memory. It's something like short-term memory, long-term memory. You heard all these words? I'm very sure. I can remember something in a short time. And some of things I can remember long time. That means some 6 months back I learned, I still remember it. Whereas something which last week I studied, I have forgotten. but last week I know it. Yesterday what I studied, I know it, but somewhere around next 3 days down the line, I will forget it. What is happening is called the short-term memory. God has created us such a way that we always have a short-term memory, and what we are using again and again will come into long-term memory. Like tables, formulas, all that is long-term memory because we have used it every day, every time. The words, a lot of words we use in English, in our languages, and we remember that. There are many words we know, but we don't remember because we don't use it. But when we hear, we remember it, recollect. So this is what it is. So what the point here is that when you come out of the exam, your short-term memory, by just relax and start off, clean up and read from one corner. How to go about it? In your study holidays, you already said, organize into points. Okay, people who have not heard the previous one, let me quickly say that. What you have to do is, there is something you have to mug up, something you have to listen, and you have to remember that. That sort of formulas, tables, equations, write down in one back page somewhere. So you can look at it quickly and remember quickly, because this we are already by hearted and used it. We know what it means, but we are by hearted it. Quickly look at it so that we'll remember it. All this by hearted stuff and understand it, like we put mnemonic shortened words. You have already learned about people doing mnemonics, like old Vibgyor, you know, that technique. People use that also for studies. So quickly look at the mnemonics, short forms, the stories we made out of the writing exam, our formulas. That should be somewhere quickly, and chapter by chapter, run through it quickly and finish. The important thing, just before the exam, don't bother about learning anything new. Only refresh what you have. We had a friend, I remember in my engineering college days, Padri Narayani. This boy, on the beginning of the study holidays, will go to his home place, house. Then one day before the exam, he'll come back to the hostel. And suddenly we'll ask, hey, Tadin, do you know this? I said, that's very important. It'll come in exam. Then he started saying it, rattle it out. I just get disturbed. He knows a lot. It is important. Hey, can I remember it? I find it difficult. But after some time, I realized I learned this in my own way. He learned in his own way. What he is talking, this important point, I know it somewhere differently. So it doesn't matter. So don't get rattled by somebody's way of learning. You have already learned and prepared. Be with that ready and do the best for the exam. So prepare, revise, quickly revise so that look into the formulas, the end of it before entering. So your memory is, your head is full of that. Go right, finish off with it. So your long-term memory, short memory, use 100% capacity to deliver for the next exam. Same thing. Don't discuss. Teachers, the board will finalize what is the answer. Go for your next work. So boards are in. Now, next point. Remember in the model exam, you run through a model exam. You run through class test. It is not to check you what you have scored. Oh, I got 70%, I got 80%, I got 90%. No, it is not for that. It is to find out which are the leftover 30% or 20% where you are not scored. Learn that. The learning, new learning is during your study holidays, model exam and school days. It is not what you scored. What is important, what you are not scored. That is more important. Right? Fine. So now we have said about exam after exam. Now, it immediately gets us into preparing the exam. I already said when you're prepared for the next one is get into your revising, your mnemonics, story pattern about it. And you have not learned, don't bother about learning any parts. And model test means that's a time where you have to learn the old one. So fine, let me just get into what we have learned so far quickly. And can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. We can see you.
You
We
can
can
see.
see
Thank
your
you.
screen.
So what are key points we learned so far? Writing the board exam, I begin with saying that what is the significance of the board exam? Because it is there not to do any damage to anybody, it is standardization. And it is really easier than your model exams, and it'll be easier than your other class tests. Your teachers are very strict to give you marks. In board exams, they have been told to give you marks for every step. So don't worry about board exams. What you have to do is do your best. For the paper, be happier. You write everything what you know, complete or incomplete. Easier the paper, be careful. Write details so that you don't miss out and you get less mark. An easier question paper, we may get the answer, but certainly our scoring will be low if you don't write all details. There is nothing called a lengthy paper. Time is managed against the marks allotted. Time is not managed against the number of questions. Thumb rule is 1.8 minutes for 1 mark. Anytime you are crossing the time for any question which has got the mark allotted, you are crossing, eating into another question's time. You may not be answering sufficiently for it. You may know plenty of the thing on a 5-mark question, but you have to write within that 9 minutes. If not, another 5-mark question, you will find lesser time to write and you will not be able to write sufficiently. So it's against the mark. Remember smart answering. Same thing. Answers all questions for maximum mark. It is not answering all you know in a question and losing time for others. Remember the smart answer. 4. Avoidable errors. I won't say mistakes. Avoidable errors. Focus on the tip of your pen. Be there and see what you are doing. Be on it. You started thinking next step, you will be making errors. All multiple answers, go 1 round, 2 round in the specified time available. Always answer the quick ones you know, then go 2nd round what you can. This habit is to be throughout your life, even in your future when you are doing for your job and exams. Make your answers correction friendly to the teachers, because teachers are going to see hundreds of answer sheets, and imagine you are going to correct some 200 answer sheets continuously. It loses your patience and they're likely to miss the points which are already written. They're human. You and me all can make this error. Not that they are doing with intention. But when you write it very point by point, number by number, bullet, underlining, your marks fall very quickly, 100% correct. And remember to mark the question number. It may look like a silly point, but it's a very important point, the answer and the question. These are common mistakes in the board when you are writing, I find. On writing your board exam, remember, go for the next paper. Rest, refresh, take your bath, ready on it, sit down immediately and be ready for your next exam paper. 100% that 1 day or 2 day, focus and get on it, because that temporary memory, short memory and long memory will help you. For the board exams, that means you are appearing for the board. Quickly glance through every chapter, every page, write recollect, fill your short-term memory, fill your long-term memory. Before entering, look at all what is rote and rote logical things. That means what you are memorized, what you are by hearted, what you are supposed to by heart. Formula, equation, definition, tables, mnemonic stories. Do not get foxed by others' talk. You have learned your way. Others may can, do you know that? Do you, this is important? That is not, just don't bother. You have learned your way, and that is what it is. Your way is the better way than others' way. Model tests are not about how you scored. Class tests and model tests are used for what you have not learned during the study. Let's do that. Finding the gaps is more important than knowing what you scored, right? Make this as a point. Let us quickly recollect the previous talk, key points. I said there is sufficient time during study holidays to revise in Excel. People who are not seen the previous talk, please go through the thing. It's important to know that to follow this talk. Then you hear again this talk. It is sufficient, there is sufficient time during study holidays to excel and excel. So it is very clear. Excellence is doing our best. We need to do our best by improving upon it. It is a habit. Old time Aristotle said, excellence is a habit, it's not one time. I did one time excellent job, but rest of the time I'm not doing excellent job means it's not good for my career. Long term, only people do very well who is excelled continuously, right? Now, we learn through rote logical, applied logic, and seeing patterns in all subjects. Please, who are not seeing this, go through the previous talk, understand. It is very important to know what it means. Why by hearting is important than the understanding. You may understand, but you may not be able to write or reproduce in your exam unless you also remember it. So remembering is important. Recalling is important. Every subject begins by heart. Any topic, anyway, even today when you get into a new job, there are things which you have to by heart. That means you call it by heart, you call it rote and rote logical. These both ability is required even when you are working in your management, you are doing some jobs anywhere. This is part of our life. This is the graph which I showed how residual memory happened. As the time goes, our recollecting ability keeps coming down and some small left. Increasing that bandwidth is important. That's why I said when you repeat something, learn repeatedly, the bandwidth increases. Very clear, small residual memory, it increases. So more we repeat, larger is the memory available, long-term memory available. And it is better and easy to reproduce. We should make the difference. Last I said something important. Understanding, ability to recall, ability to reproduce. There are three different things. I know, but I may not be able to say. I know, but I may not be able to exactly explain things. You need to explain things. So you got to remember something. And we should be able to recall. Recall means, what is that here? I have to recall it. That's a broad, by hearting is necessary recall. So there's a recall, reproduce apart from understanding. It's very important to understand, but recall. Organize your study schedules, study holidays you have to organize and plan daily timetable, stick to it. We explained it in the previous one. And I told why we said it. First, difficult ones you revise first, easy ones and what you love, revise last. But what we do is other way in our study always. What we like the subject, you revise that first, difficult. Thank you. That's it. Thank you one for all in short, quick summation of this. Over to Dr. Mathigoshi.
Thank you, Thank you, Commander Terinkoshi, for your wonderful lecture. And the YouTube links are available. You can see the previous lecture and today's lecture And I request all the students to see it again and again to improve your exam writing capabilities. I now request Reverend Rajan, the Associate Director of the Ecological Department, to propose vote of thanks.
Good morning to everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank God for countless blessings, making the day a magnificent one. Indeed, it seems to be a grand honor to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped us in making the second online lecture for the students in the title of How to be a Successful Students, a very resounding success. On behalf of the entire fraternity, Church of South India Department of Ecological Concern, from the bottom of my heart, I myself and our dynamic director, Professor Dr. Matthew Koshishar, I thank the speaker of the day, respected Commander Tharian Koshi Shah, for all the valuable comments and suggestions into the share with us the present time, particularly respected sir, as you have mentioned, it's very privileged students because the final sessions you have mentioned before and post those who are write the board examination tips. So once again, sir, for making a excellent presentation and making this lecture for a very meaningfully and challenging for the students. Once again, the thank for the commander, Dr. Tharian Koshishar. I'm very proud to say this is one of the department, ecological concern department has initiating efforts, particularly those who are writing the board examination student. Our dynamic director in a very busy schedule, Professor Dr. Matthew Koshishar, for taking this initiative, especially for those who are writing the board examination student. On behalf of these entire students, I must thank to our director, Professor Dr. Matthew Koshishar, for taking initiative. So my humbly request for all the students, please take all the suggestions, please take all the tips. I think maybe we hope this lecture very helps to all the students, those who are going to the writing the board examination. Don't lose, don't miss for forthcoming lecture also. Finally, I would like to thank all our participants and those who are making the teachers also for this lecture. We have had many to learn, live to conquer for days to come. Oh, thank you once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.